Hello everyone, today's video is going to be an engaging one where we are going to explore the differences between the two most popular mediums, gouache and watercolors. For this tutorial, I have chosen to take this watercolor paper. I have partitioned this paper with watercolor on one side and gouache on the other. Now I'm going to start with blending two shades of green using the wet on dry technique. So what is this wet on dry technique? This technique in watercolor painting involves applying wet paint onto any dry surface, typically dry paper or a dried layer of paint. This technique allows for more controlled and precise brush strokes. Blending with watercolors involves smoothly transitioning between colors to create gradients, soft edges, and seamless color mixes. It's a fundamental technique in watercolor painting, allowing you to create depth, form, and dimension. Likewise, I do a similar kind of blending with gouache pigments too. We would have to apply one color, and before the first layer dries up, the next color has to be applied on top by slightly overlapping the first layer. We can use a damp brush to blend the edges where the two colors meet. This method gives more control and is great for more defined blending. The technique which I am currently using is called lifting technique. Lifting is used when the color is too intense or the blend is not as smooth as desired, where we can lift some paint by blotting it with a clean damp brush or a tissue. This can soften edges, help with the blending, and would also help us achieve different textures. Now I have diluted the gouache slightly with water for glazing, but make sure not to dilute a lot in order to maintain the opacity. After applying two adjacent colors, we can use a dry or slightly damp brush to gently pull and blend the colors together at the boundary. Make sure to use light, short strokes to achieve a gradient effect. Now moving on to the layering. Layering is being done to give a depth to the art. When we layer colors using watercolors, we will have to customize the water and the paint ratio diligently. By adjusting the water and the paint ratio correctly, we would be able to achieve in-depth layering. Layering must be done with a lot of precision while using watercolors, as the transparency can cause colors to mix and create a totally different shade of color. Therefore, it is best to always begin your painting with light washes to establish the basic shapes and colors. Then we will have to allow these layers to dry completely before adding darker colors. We will have to ensure that the initial layers are light enough, as they will serve as the foundation for darker colors. We will have to apply dark colors in thin layers, gradually building up the intensity. This would allow for more control and would prevent the dark colors from overpowering the painting. It would be more appropriate to use more pigment and less water in each successive layer to create a deeper and richer color. On the other hand, layering can be done with a lot of ease using gouache due to its opacity. With gouache, we would be able to achieve great detailing and also be able to do any kind of corrections and adjustments on top of existing layers. This is why gouache is also known as the forgiving medium. So let's see how the final outcome has come out, where we would be able to see watercolor has a transparent look and gouache has a matte finish. Hope this video helped in understanding a few distinctions between watercolor and gouache. Bye bye.